Sunnyvale. The name itself conjured images of idyllic life, a place where children played freely, their laughter echoing through the warm summer evenings. Neighbors knew each other, their doors often left unlocked, a testament to the trust that bound them. Life moved at a slower pace here, dictated by the rhythm of the seasons and the setting sun. It was a town where secrets seemed impossible, a place where darkness dared not tread, or so they thought. Beneath the veneer of tranquility, a current of unease ran through Sunnyvale's veins, a darkness hidden beneath the surface. For Sunnyvale harbored a secret, a chilling truth that whispered through the wind. People had a habit of disappearing here, vanishing without a trace, leaving behind only unanswered questions and a void that echoed with their absence. Sarah Miller was last seen on a Friday night, the air thick with the promise of rain. She had been at the annual town picnic, her laughter blending with the strumming of guitars and the murmur of conversation. Her bright smile, a beacon of warmth, had been a familiar sight that night. No one could have known that it would be the last time they saw it. Later that night, the storm broke, unleashing its fury upon Sunnyvale. Torrents of rain lashed against windows, the wind howling like a banshee. It was a night that seemed to swallow sound, a night for secrets to disappear. And disappear Sarah did. When the sun rose, casting a pale light on the rain-soaked town, Sarah Miller was gone. Her front door was ajar, her bed untouched. It was as if she had simply ceased to exist, swallowed whole by the storm. The news of Sarah's disappearance spread through Sunnyvale like wildfire, leaving a trail of shock and disbelief in its wake. The town, once a haven of peace, now held its breath, fear clinging to the air like the morning mist. The laughter of children was replaced by hushed whispers. The once familiar streets now seemed ominous, shrouded in an unsettling silence. Theories abounded, whispers swirling in the wake of Sarah's disappearance. Some spoke of a stranger in town, a shadowy figure seen lurking in the periphery. Others muttered about an old curse, a tale whispered through generations of a malevolent entity that claimed the town's inhabitants as its own. Emily, Sarah's closest friend, refused to believe that Sarah was gone. They had been inseparable since childhood, sharing secrets, dreams, and a bond that ran deeper than words. The thought of Sarah simply vanishing was unbearable, a gaping wound in Emily's heart. Driven by a fierce loyalty and a desperate need for answers, Emily embarked on a quest to find her friend, her determination fueled by grief and a growing sense of unease. Her search led her to the dusty archives of the Sunnyvale Historical Society, a treasure trove of forgotten stories and faded photographs. As she delved deeper into the town's history, a chilling pattern emerged, a cycle of disappearances that stretched back generations. Each disappearance followed an eerily similar pattern occurring at irregular intervals, leaving behind the same chilling void. Section 5. The Walls Close In. The deeper Emily dug, the more convinced she became that Sarah's disappearance was not an isolated incident. It was as if Sunnyvale itself was complicit, its history stained with the blood of its missing children. The idyllic facade of the town began to crumble, revealing a dark underbelly, a place where secrets festered and fear was a constant companion. Strange occurrences began to plague Emily, subtle at first, then escalating with a terrifying intensity. Footsteps echoed in the empty hallway of her home, a chill seeping into her bones despite the summer heat. Shadows seemed to move in the corner of her vision, vanishing when she turned her head. Whispers followed her, carried on the wind, pronouncements of her name spoken with an icy breath that sent shivers down her spine. Section 6. Echoes of the Past. Among the Historical Society's archives, Emily discovered a diary, its pages brittle with age, the ink faded but still legible. It belonged to a young woman named Abigail, who had lived in Sunnyvale over a century ago. As Emily read Abigail's words, a cold dread settled over her. Abigail's entries spoke of a haunting presence in the town, a malevolent entity she referred to as the Night Stalker. Abigail described the same sense of dread that now clung to Emily, the same feeling of being watched, hunted. She wrote of shadows that danced at the edge of her vision, of voices that whispered her name in the dead of night. Her words painted a chilling portrait of a town held captive by an unseen force, a force that claimed its victims with chilling regularity. Section 7. The Clearing in the Woods. Abigail's diary mentioned a clearing deep in the woods that bordered Sunnyville, a place where the veil between reality and nightmare seemed to thin. It was a place of power, Abigail wrote, a place where the Night Stalker could be found. Armed with this knowledge and driven by a desperate hope, Emily decided to venture into the woods. The air grew heavy with an unnatural stillness as Emily entered the woods, the sunlight struggling to penetrate the dense canopy of leaves. An unnatural silence blanketed the forest, broken only by the sound of her own heartbeat echoing in her ears. The deeper she ventured, the more oppressive the atmosphere became, the air thick with the scent of damp earth and decay. The clearing, when she finally found it, was shrouded in an unnatural twilight. The trees thinned, their branches gnarled and twisted as if in silent agony. A sense of wrongness permeated the air, a pressure that pressed down on her chest, stealing her breath. And then she saw it. A figure stood in the center of the clearing, its back to Emily, its form wreathed in shadows. It was taller than any man she had ever seen, its shoulders impossibly broad, its presence radiating an aura of ancient evil. As Emily watched, the figure turned, and she glimpsed a face that sent a scream rising in her throat. The face was inhuman, a grotesque mockery of human features. Its eyes glowed with an eerie light, and its mouth was stretched into a wide, unnatural grin, revealing rows of razor-sharp teeth. Terror, primal and consuming, seized Emily, rooting her to the spot. She wanted to scream, to run, but her body refused to obey. And then, just as suddenly as it had appeared, the figure vanished, melting back into the shadows as if it had never been. The oppressive atmosphere lifted, the unnatural silence giving way to the sounds of the forest. Emily, trembling and weak with relief, stumbled back the way she had come, the image of the creature seared into her mind. Emily emerged from the woods, forever changed by what she had seen. She tried to tell her story, to warn the townspeople, but her words were met with skepticism and fear. They refused to believe her, choosing instead to cling to their carefully constructed illusions of safety and normalcy. And so, the cycle continued. Months later, another resident of Sunnyville vanished without a trace, their disappearance mirroring those that had come before. The whispers began anew, the fear settling back over the town like a shroud. But Emily knew the truth. She knew that Sunnyville was trapped in a nightmare, held captive by an ancient evil that refused to be ignored. One night, Emily disappeared. She was last seen walking towards the woods, her face pale but determined. No trace of her was ever found. Her fate another mystery added to Sunnyville's dark tapestry. Some say she went willingly, drawn back to the clearing by the creature that haunted her dreams. Others believe she was taken, another victim claimed by the insatiable hunger of the Night Stalker. Whatever her fate, Emily's memory lingered in Sunnyville, a constant reminder of the darkness that lurked beneath the surface. Her story became a cautionary tale, whispered from one generation to the next, a testament to the enduring power of fear and the chilling truth that some secrets are best left buried. And so Sunnyville remained, forever marked by the disappearances, its idyllic facade shattered, its innocence lost to the shadows. The town held its breath, waiting for the cycle to begin anew, forever haunted by the chilling whisper of the wind.